Hello everyone, this is part 23 of What If Naruto Had Some Help, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. When Naruto walked into his loft that he was staying in, he saw Ino laying on his bed asleep and he smiled and thought, she looks beautiful like that, as he slowly slipped through the room gathering some cloths from his dresser and moved toward the bathroom and closed the door to take a shower. Ino awoke to the sound of running water and she sat up and after looking around and thinking a few minutes her eyes went wide and thought, is he home? As she slowly walked toward the bathroom door and knocked. Naruto's voice came through the door and said, be out in a minute, making Ino smile. Ino said, well, don't take all day, as she walked toward the kitchen and pulled out some food from the fridge and began to make a small breakfast. When Naruto came out, he was wearing a pair of sweatpants and a wife-beater shirt. Ino smiled at him as she sat the food on the table and said, be right back, as she went into the bathroom and closed the door. When she came out, Naruto was sitting at the table drinking a glass of water and Ino came over and sat at the table and said, so, you fed Hinata, huh? Causing him to spray his water to the side of the table as he turned his head luckily. After he got done coughing, he asked, what? Ino crossed her arms across her chest and said, you fed Hinata. Naruto sighed and said, not exactly. Ino asked, then tell me exactly what did happen, as she glared at him. Naruto leaned back and asked, how much do you know, Ino? Ino said, oh no you don't. I am the queen of gossip. I know how people try and hide bits and pieces of information by first asking what you do and don't know, so they only have to tell you part of the truth. Now as your girlfriend you owe me an explanation. Naruto thought, I think I was safer under a court-martial, and said, all right, first, can you tell me how long I have been back in Konoha? I was arrested and held knocked out for a while before my trial and I was only released earlier and I am not sure about everything yet. Ino said, Sakura came by 3 days ago saying her team was back and told me about your mission, saying the last word with venom. Naruto gulped and said, look, the only thing that happened between Hinata and I was she gave me a blow job before she passed out and it was under an official test with a Junin instructor watching to ensure the rules of the test were followed correctly. I don't know what anyone told you about it and until I talk to your sensei I am not allowed to tell you any more about the test even though I want to, but it doesn't matter anymore, as he said the last part dejectedly. Ino blinked and asked, why doesn't it matter anymore? Are you not still the Fire Kami? Naruto looked at her and she said, Kurenai sensei came by and told me the truth about the test after Hinata brought a picture by and tried to make me doubt you. Naruto said, so you know about the test to become a Chunin then? Ino frowned and said, yeah. I heard all about it and though I don't like it I can see where it would be safer than the alternative and it would make a great deterrent to keep those who should not be a ninja away. My question is why did you agree to it? Naruto placed his hands together and said, because I did not want you to have to take the test with some complete stranger just to be able to be promoted. I had first turned it down but after hearing from Kurenai and someone else why I should do it as opposed to someone else I decided that it would be better, though I doubt I am the Fire Kami any longer. Ino blinked and asked, what do you mean? Naruto said, what's missing from me right now, Ino? What have I always worn that is not on me now? Ino looked at him in confusion and blinked and asked, where's your leaf hiate on your headband? Naruto said, under Article 236-11, I am no longer a Konoha shinobi. The official ruling is that I am a risk to not only Konoha but also every Konoha shinobi, so the Hokage has stripped me of my rank and position as a ninja and has officially exiled me. I have until Friday to leave the village and I am not allowed to return, as he looked up at the ceiling. Ino was wide-eyed as she covered her mouth and asked in a quiet voice, why? Naruto said, to save Konoha. Ino asked, to save Konoha from what? Naruto walked toward the bathroom and came back out with his weapon pouch and pulled out a book and turned to the first page and handed it to Ino, and as she read he said, I have been deemed a threat to the safety of the village because as long as I am a shinobi of Konoha, Iwa, Mist, Rain, Kumo, and who knows how many other hidden villages would rally together and attack Konoha. Iwa because of my father since my official name is listed, and Kumo because they are allied with Iwa like Suna is with us. Mist I can guess because we recently learned on my mission that the Mizukage is Uchiha Madara, the man who sent Kyuubi to attack Konoha and the leader of Akatsuki. As for Rain, not a clue. The only thing I could think of is Rain is allied with Mist. If I were to remain a Konoha shinobi, then it would only be a matter of time before they began to destroy Konoha to get to me. The Hokage does not want to do it, but in order to protect the village it has to be done. I won't be marked down as a missing nin, so I don't have to worry about any of my friends being sent after me to Kami, and I am allowed to stay in the Fire Country, but I am not allowed to come within 1 mile of Konoha unless given permission by the Hokage, and I will have to be under Anbu guard the entire time here, which is very unlikely. Ino had tears going down her face and asked, but what about us? Naruto got up and walked around to where she was seated and got down on his knees and looked at her and said, Ino. You are a very beautiful woman, and I count myself lucky to have been able to be with you, Ino, for as long as we were, and I can say I honestly know what it was to be loved now. I wish there was a way for us to still be together, as I know I would be truly blessed, but we can't. I am too dangerous for you or anyone to ever be close to. My enemies are going to grow every day, and they will target those I love to get to me. You're a great person, Ino, and you can have any guy you want. Someone who can treat you with respect and love, and you won't have to always live in fear. You need to let me go and move on. Find you someone who can treat you as the princess you are. Ino was openly crying now, and she said, it's not fair. Why do you have to risk your life here to protect us? Naruto wiped the tears off her face and said, it's because of you and the rest of my precious people that I am not upset about sacrificing my life here to protect you. I am a Jinchuriki. The power of a human S. It is something I have had to come to terms of, to understand that I will always have to S everything in my life so those I care for won't be harmed by me. I am willing to do anything to protect you and the others, and that includes protecting you from myself. Ino got up and ran out the door, leaving it open as she ran down the stairs to his house, and Naruto sighed as he sat there and thought, I am sorry, Ino. I may be strong for a genin and know several cage level skills, but those are easy to beat. I have to agree with the old man. To have the information they had about me, as well as to know about Mirai and Sanbi so soon, to have it posted in the bingo book, means someone had to have spied on our battle and on my training with Mirai. For none of us to detect this person means their spying skills are very good. It must have been someone in Akatsuki. It's all that makes sense. At least with my skills I can go into hiding and lose them, hopefully making it harder for them to capture me while I get stronger, and Iwa and Kumo won't have a reason to attack Konoha since I won't be here anymore. As he got up and closed the door before eating what Ino made and then cleaning up the dishes, and then went to lay down. When Naruto got back up, he got dressed in a pair of Anbu-style pants and a white shirt, and he thought, okay, let's see. If I am leaving, what all do I need to have with me to survive? Naruto left a little bit later and he went toward the Uchiha district, and he soon found Sasuke in his backyard standing on top of a pond doing kaiten jutsu, and Naruto said, hey. Sasuke stopped and said, hey Dobe. So what happened? Naruto shrugged and said, the same old, same old. Listen Sasuke, you got a few minutes. I need my stuff and I have a favor to ask. Sasuke looked at Naruto and said, sure bro, come on inside so I can get your scroll. As he walked off the pound and then toward a house with Naruto following. When they got inside, Sasuke went to a picture and pulled it off the wall and opened a safe behind it and pulled out a scroll and said, here's your stuff, so what's up? Naruto took the scroll and began to unseal everything as he looked at it to see what he had and what he needed, and said, as best as I can tell, someone spied on our battle with Mirai and the Sanbi. Someone from Akatsuki. Sasuke was full attention now and asked, what do you mean? Naruto took out the bingo book and showed him the first page and said, the only way they could have that info is if someone was spying on us, and considering who they have listed as having a flee on sight order, for me it's not too hard to connect the dots. Sasuke frowned and said, but this doesn't make sense. Why would he openly display this information on you? Naruto said, to help keep me from getting stronger and to weaken me by forcing Konoha and me to separate from each other. Sasuke looked at him and asked, what do you mean separate? As Naruto wrote down what he had and packed his equipment, he said, as long as I am a Konoha shinobi, thanks to that info there, Konoha is in danger from Iwa, Kumo, Rain, Mist, and who knows how many other hidden villages. Konoha may be the strongest hidden village and I may be strong, but there is no way we can stand up to 4 hidden villages and hope to survive. Sasuke's eyes narrowed and said, "What's happened, Dobe?" Naruto sighed and said, "Look Sasuke, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to protect Konoha for me and I need you to support Ino. She's not taking this very well and..." Sasuke slammed him against the wall and said. Naruto frowned and said, "I have been stripped of my status as a Konoha shinobi and have been exiled. I won't be marked as a missing nin and I don't have to worry about any Konoha shinobi coming after me, but when I leave on Friday I won't be allowed to return to Konoha or get within a mile of the village unless I am given permission from the Hokage." Sasuke let him go and stepped back and asked, "And you're okay with this?" Naruto sighed and said, "I don't like it Sasuke, but I will do what I must to protect those I care for. I will protect you, my brother and my sister Rose, and I will Ino who I love deeply and all my friends. I have never had a family growing up and so I made one and I will do anything to make sure all of you are safe Sasuke." Sasuke grabbed his head and pulled as he growled and said, "This can't be happening. Why does my brothers have to be SD to save me? Why does..." As Naruto placed his 2 fingers against Sasuke's forehead and said, "Ototo, listen to me. Itachi and I both did what we had to make sure that our loved ones will survive. Just because I am leaving does not mean I am not your brother or mean I don't care for you. I will not just walk out the gates and I am going to get stronger, I am going to become a thorn in Madara's side." Naruto pulled out 2 rings and said, "These are the rings of Akatsuki. Itachi told me that without these they can't recruit new members, so that means there are only a certain number of members in the world. I have 2 of these rings. Itachi and Kisame. I am giving you Itachi ring to guard. I am not just going to wait for Akatsuki to come for me. I am going to get strong enough to hunt him down. Then I will go after Madara himself. He may be older and stronger than me, but the bastard won't be for stronger for long. I promise you that, and I don't go back on my word. That's my Nindo," as he gave Sasuke Itachi ring. Sasuke closed his eyes and said, "I don't like this anarchy." Naruto said, "Neither do I, but it has to be done. Konoha will always be my home. I am counting on you to protect it for me." Sasuke nods and said, "I will protect it for you, so what do you have planned?" Naruto stepped back and said, "Well, I need to go get some supplies and have more Hiraishin kunais made, as well as visit my sister and try to see if I can get some of my underworld connections set up outside of the village. I also have to get some money and food." Sasuke grunted and pulled out a checkbook and quickly wrote a check and said, "Here, this is half of the money left in my family checking account. It will be more than enough to get you what you need and money to live on," as he handed Naruto the check. Naruto looked at it and his eye went wide and said, "I can't take this Sasuke." Sasuke said, "You're taking it or I will kick your ass Dobe. Now you don't have much time and I have training to do, so you better get going." Naruto looked at the check and asked, "Are you sure?" Sasuke glared and Naruto pulled him into a hug and said, "Thank you Sasuke." Sasuke said, "Whatever anarchy." Naruto stepped back and said, "Good luck, and if I don't see you between now and Friday I plan to leave at 7 a.m. Friday morning." Sasuke HN'd and said, "Whatever Dobe," as he walked out of the house and Naruto walked out and left. After Naruto was gone, Sasuke clenched, slammed his fist into a training log and thought, "I will protect Konoha for you anarchy," as blood slowly rolled down the log. After Naruto stopped by the bank and a small fight to get the money, but with help from an Anbu who was guarding the bank he got the money, and now he was walking into the wolf claw weapon shop. Dustin looked up and said, well, what can I get for you Mr. Hero?" Naruto asked, "Huh?" Dustin smiled and said, "You saved my daughter's life kid. I owe you." Naruto said, "It was nothing but I need some help." Dustin asked, "What you need kid?" Naruto said, "Can you close up for a little bit so we can talk?" Dustin looked at Naruto and walked to the door and locked it and said, "All right, let's go down to the stockroom." When they got there, Dustin asked, "So what do you need?" Naruto asked, "How fast can you make Hiraishin kunais?" Dustin said, "I don't know, why?" Naruto said, "I will skip to the short version. Because of the danger I represent to Konoha from my enemies, I am being exiled. I got until Friday at noon to leave, so I plan to leave at 7 a.m. Friday morning. I need to resupply all my weapons and store extra because I don't know when I will ever get to resupply. Dustin frowned and said, you get Rose to get me 2 pints of your blood and I can have you 1,000 made by Friday. What else you need? Naruto said, I need storage scrolls, as many kunais, shurikens, sealing inks, exploding tags, flash tags, ninja wire, first aid kits, blood pills, soldier pills, smoke bombs, poisons and antidotes, and weapon sharpening kits. If you got any books on how to make my own tags as well as sealing, I would appreciate it. Dustin said, sounds like you're planning a war. Naruto said, I am. My enemies forced this hand so they can try and capture me to get the fox. At least that's what we believe. I am going to have to get stronger as fast as possible. Dustin nods and said, I will meet you at the gates on Friday with a master scroll with your order. You sure you can afford all this? Naruto said, give me an estimate. Dustin looked at the list and thought a moment and said, since I am going to have to shut down the shop and getting all the supplies ready with what I have on hand down here and in the store up top, I would say $650,000. Naruto said, deal, as he pulled out a scroll and unsealed several bags of money and counted it out. After he was done, Dustin said, now make sure you check the kunais and shurikens when you get ready to start using them. I am adding exploding ones I have down here as well. Naruto said, I will and thanks. Dustin nods and said, good luck kid and get that blood to me today so I can get those kunais made. Naruto said, I will, as he quickly left and Dustin thought, now time to get busy. After Naruto left he headed toward the Yamanaka flower shop and when he entered it he saw Inoki sitting behind the counter and said, so how's it going kid? Naruto said, alright I guess. How's Ino? Inoki said, Shush is asleep right now. I heard about your exile. Naruto said, yeah. Look, I need some supplies Inoki-sensei. Inoki said, I'm not your sensei any longer kid. Naruto looked down and said, I know. I am sorry I hurt Ino and I never expected this to happen but at least now I can protect her and everyone else. Inoki said, you don't have to explain it to me kid. I understand completely. I was there at the trial. Nobody can fault you on your thinking. Abiki has already started an investigation trying to find who the mole could be. I am saddened that you didn't tell me about it but I can understand how you must believe that you can't trust most of the people of this village because of what you have been through. Ino is hurt by what has happened and I am sure that it hurts you as well but you said it yourself, you will protect your precious people even from yourself. That showed everyone how strong your conviction is. I believe you are going to do the right thing kid. So what do you need? Naruto said, I need as many packets of rose seeds as you can give me. I will pay for them of course but I need them for my rose whips. Inoki nods and said, be right back, as he walked into the back. He came back out with a scroll and said, inside this scroll is nearly 10,000 standard rose seeds. It's my order I get from one of my suppliers. It cost me $2,000 so if you got that much cash I will just reorder a new box and you can have this. Naruto said, no problem, as he took out some cash he had pocketed while in the weapon shop and paid for it and Inoki said, I will take this up to the loft for you since I figure you have other things you need to do. Naruto nods and said, I want to tell you thank you for everything you did for me and for letting me know what love is with your daughter. Inoki said, no problem kid. I know Ino was happy while it lasted so I have no hard feelings toward you. Naruto nods and left and Inoki asked, so how long you going to sit there on the steps Ino? Ino came into the shop with red eyes from crying and she hugged her dad who set the box on the counter as she cried. Naruto was making his way toward the store when Anko appeared in front of him and quickly grabbed him and shushed away. When they appeared again Anko punched him in the face and said, all right. Now I heard about what you said at your little trial. I know what you did to my friends and about you looking into my file. I want to know what gave you the right to do it. Naruto rubbed his cheek and said, hello to you too. Now as for your question, I have one for you. Why did you never realize the slip up that guy made? Sure at the time you were worried about first the mission and then me when I got captured but why not after? Anko said, that's none of your business. Naruto said, because you didn't catch it or you dismissed it. I nearly did the same thing and dismissed it, but it kept bugging me until I checked it out, and then I refused to ruin your friendship or make you doubt your friends until I had actual proof, because I know how hard it is for you to make people you trust. I am the same way. I understand you better than anyone else in this village could, and if the role was reversed I would want you to do the same thing, because if you ever came to me and accused one of the people I trusted with being a spy, I would kick you ass, but after that I would begin to lose the trust I had in my friends, and you know you would do the same thing. Go ahead and be pissed at me and go ahead and kick my ass, but don't you dare try to pull the "I could never understand what I did" card that I can see you want to play, because believe me, I do, with a commanding voice that stunned Anko. Anko looked at him for several minutes and said, "I fing hate your guts, kid. When I look at you I see myself, and no matter how hard I try to deny your words, you're right. Just get the hell out of here before I kick your ass." Naruto shushens away and Anko leans back against a tree and thought, "I need a drink." Naruto sighed as he got back to town, and he shape-shifted into Miko, quickly bought lots of canned food, ramen, vegetables, fruits. After taking them back to the loft and changing back into Naruto, he quickly created several Kajbunshin and had them begin to seal the supplies into scrolls. After he had the clones begin to work, he left again and headed for Red's. When he got there he was quickly sent to the back and he saw Rose, who said, "I have been waiting on you, kid. Sit down." Naruto sat down and Rose pushed her hands together and asked, "So how long are you going to pull this tragic hero crap you and the Sandime are pulling?" Naruto asked, "What do you mean?" Rose said, "I mean the fact that your whole exile crap is only partially true. I know Jiraiya's spy network has learned that Orochimaru is planning to attack the village during the Chunin exams in a couple of weeks, and Konoha will be weak after that, which would give Iwa and Kumo a good excuse to come after you and finish off Konoha." Naruto chuckled and said, "I see you have some good information network yourself, Nei-san. If you know all this, then you know I have to do it." Rose said, "I know. I do want to know what you plan to do to help Konoha though, and what you plan to do afterwards." Naruto sighed and said, "Well, time skip. When Friday came around, Naruto walked toward the gates of Konoha when he saw several people standing there, and he blinked and said, 'So you all came to see me off?' Sasuke said, "Not exactly, Anarchy." Naruto turned his head to the side and asked, "What do you mean, Ototo?" Sasuke said, "I am going with you." Naruto eye went wide and said, "Whoa, wait a moment." The third frowned and said, "I am afraid that there is nothing I can do at this point, Naruto. Sasuke has already placed himself on the reserve list, and since he is technically the clan head of the Uchiha clan, he has the right to come and go as he pleases in the name of clan business, as long as he doesn't betray Konoha. He is basically in the same boat as you, but he can return whenever he wishes." Naruto blinked and blinked again and asked, "Exactly how the hell did you find that little loophole?" Shikamaru said, "It's troublesome, Naruto, but it's one of the lessons each of the clan heirs are taught by our parents." Naruto said, "Not you as well, Shika." Shika rubbed his ear and said, "Someone has to keep an eye on Ino." Naruto blinked and asked, "Ino?" as he looked around and said, "I don't see her." The third said, "She will be here in a moment along with Sakura and Team 8. Naruto looked confused and asked, "Wait, what? I am completely confused. Will someone please explain it to me? I get exiled for being a danger to the village, and now I am looking at a group forming." A lazy voice said, "Well, as far as Konoha is concerned, you are in exile and Sasuke is going on a long-term travel trip to strengthen the bonds between the Uchiha clan and other villages. The rest of Team 7 with Haku as a replacement for Amy will be going along with him as bodyguards until the mission is over." As Naruto looked at Kakashi, who was in a tree reading his book. Naruto saw Zabuza and Haku walk up, and Naruto asked, "And Zabuza?" The third said, "Ino came to me and said that she wanted to go on a business trip to different lands to find new and rare flowers for her family shop, so like Sasuke she has placed herself on the reserve list. Choji wishes to find new recipes and spices for his family restaurant, so he is going to travel with Ino, and Shikamaru wishes to accompany them to try and learn more uses for his family deer, including medical and food, so since there is a chance for caping with 3 heirs of prominent clans, I have assigned Asuma, Zabuza as bodyguards, since they may split up at some time and return since they are all going on different missions." Naruto bit his lip and asked, "And exactly what are Team 8 going along for?" Kiba said, "Well, my mother felt it would be a good idea for me to look for new breeds of dogs we could go and add to our kennels to make our future breeds stronger. Shino said, my clan are looking for new breeds of insects to add to our hives. Hinata stuttered, and since Sasuke was going to strengthen the relations with other villages, he felt the Hyuga should as well. The third said, so since Hinata is a main branch of the Hyuga clan, he asked that a branch member also go with her. I decided that Team 9 would go as bodyguards for her, and Kurenai and Anko will be going with Shino and Kiba. Naruto said, so let me get this straight, you actually are letting Teams 7, 8, 9, and 10 along with their sensei and 2 other to travel, and nobody is going to say anything about it. The Sandaime walked over and said, your little speech during your trial impressed a lot of people, Naruto. Officially Konoha has no ties with you, and each of these people here are all going on different individual personal missions and will return someday, so they don't have to worry about any trouble about being considered missing nins as long as they do not betray Konoha. Sasuke walked forward and said, the Black Flames are a family. We protect our own. Ino asked, the Black Flames, what's that? Neji stepped forward and said, we of the Black Flames are the elites of our generation. Tenten said, we will fight any who try to harm our members. Sakura said, we support our leader, as she looked at Naruto. Haku said, we protect what is precious to us. Lee said, we shine brightly and never let our flames be diminished. Naruto said as we of the Black Flames have a mission. Our enemies are many and our road ahead will be dangerous, but together we will consume our enemies in our fires, human or demon. We shall bring freedom to those who are oppressed like we did in Wave. Kurenai and Asuma both looked at each other and thought, what happened on that mission? And Kiba said, what happened in Wave? Sasuke said, together we freed a country from a cruel tyrant named Gato and Ked the Sanbi. We also united against our common enemy. The man who sent the Kyuubi to attack Konoha, as well as the man who indirectly led to the destruction of my clan. Uchiha Madara. Naruto said, and when him and his men come we will stop them. Kiba asked, why would Uchiha Madara come and how is he alive? He SD fighting the Shodaime. Zabuza said, Uchiha Madara is the Mizukage. He is somehow still alive. Naruto said, I think Team 8 is the only one who doesn't know, so I will tell you. My real name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I am the son of Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage of Konoha. My father did defeat the Kyuubi, but he could not kill it. Instead he sealed the Kyuubi into a newborn child to save the village, so when the child SS the Kyuubi will S with him. That child was me. Kiba scrunched his nose and asked, so you're what, the cage that holds Kyuubi? Naruto said, yeah, I am his prison. When I will have spent my entire life protecting my precious people from it. Shino said, I already knew. My family hive sees you as a kindred spirit. Hinata stuttered, I also knew. I figured it out. Naruto looked at Ino, who said, oh no, don't look at me buddy. You're still in trouble for getting a blowjob from Hinata. Hinata turned beet red and both Shino and Kiba looked at her, and Kakashi said, well at least she didn't mention the fact you also had S with Kurenai. Kurenai turned red as Asuma looked at her as his cigarette fell to the ground, and Ino screamed, what? As she looked at Naruto shocked. Anko appeared behind Naruto and said, so, is that offer still good for some personal time with me? Ino said, hell no, I am not sharing my boyfriend with any other woman, and why the hell did you not tell me you been with someone else besides Hinata? As she first yelled at Anko and then toward Naruto. Naruto scratched the back of his head and Anko said, don't you know that the kid here nickname in the bingo book come from 2 different names? The Doctor and Lucky 7 because of his luck with cards and woman. Naruto paled and Ino glared at him and Shikamaru muttered, troublesome, causing everyone to laugh. Naruto said, well, I think it's time to get the hell out of here. Bye. As he jumped away with Ino chasing after him and the others, who began to follow at a slower pace. Once they were out of sight, the third sighed and thought, the future generation always surpasses the last. The Black Flames will ensure the will of fire will continue. It will be a long rough road and it pains me to see them gone, but at least they have each other to keep them safe. Goodbye Kakashi, Anko, Kurenai, Zabuza, and my son Asuma. Please take care of them. As he looked at the sky and thought, Sasuke, Sakura, Ino, Choji, Shikamaru, Haku, Kiba, Shino, Hinata, Neji, Tenten, Lee, and last but not least you as well, Naruto. Naruto, after he allowed Ino to catch him and hit him over the head, slowed down and waited for everyone to catch up, and he saw them all looking confused and he said, "All right, I want you all to stop right now and listen to what I have to say." As everyone looked at him, Naruto said, "I don't know what you all think is going to happen from here or what will happen in the future. There will be some good times and lots of bad times. You may never return to Konoha, so I ask you each now, are you all sure you want to come with me? Neither I or anyone else here will hold it against you." As he looked at everyone there, and after nobody turned or left and Naruto nods and said, "All right, then, I thank you all for coming with me, even if you don't know everything." Kakashi asked, "So where do you plan to go first, Naruto?" Naruto smirked and said, "Well, and so the legend of the Black Flames began." To be continued. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.